What's up, everybody? This is D from Brooklyn. I thought I would just wrap the year up with a little update of all the tanks and just show you what I got going on at home before the year ends. So sit back, get a cool beverage, and chill.
From this moment on, you will now be known as Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh ha ha!
Welcome, brother Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh ha ha!
Enough with the Sharkbait.
Sharkbait! Ooh, but.
Well, here, if you guys have been following my channel, is the oh so familiar 125-gallon Reef. It has gone through so many different changes over the years that I couldn't even begin to explain. So if you want to see more in this tank, I hope you've already clicked that subscribe button to see those prior videos going back quite a few years. This tank was set up in 2003. And prior to that, it was actually a freshwater tank and went through many changes. But long story short, you can see that I'm a guy that loves mushrooms and I'm a bit of a collector, with these being my favorite, my giant kind of hybrid. They started out as a elephant ear, and I tried in a little experiment where I kind of cut them and attached them with the green mushrooms over here. And you ended up with these hybrids that are like almost bulletproof. So I have had these mushrooms growing for many years, and they are just really beautiful in a tank that has a low sand bed. Also, if you notice, the stars of my tank are not the coral. I love the coral, but the stars of my tank are really the fish. I have had all of these fish 10 plus years, and they are kind of like members of the family. This guy over here, my yellow tank, Sunny, my son named him when he was about 10 years old or 12 years old. Now he's graduated college and Sunny is still chilling. My four-striped damsels have been in here over 10 years. They're probably the oldest fish in the tank. Dimsels get a bad rap. A lot of the times dimsels get a bad rap and they're used to cycle tanks, which really isn't fair to them. But these guys are ample and really good citizens of the tank, but they will move coral from time to time. So you'll see that nothing has changed in the tank. Everything's going very well. I'm still running the 3 LED units over the tank, which have been pretty well performing, as well as the ventilation system, which brings me to another tank. Here are those same mushrooms which have taken over the SpongeBob tank. If you go back, you'll remember that I set this tank up. I just renovated it about 2 months ago, set it up as a SpongeBob tank. So I'll be taking a majority of those mushrooms out probably tonight to bring to a local reef keeper here that is starting out a new tank. But you can see how they've gone from hiding the mushroom to covering the mushroom. So I'll be taking those out. You can see that the purples have really grown all over the place. They're just really easy to keep. And when you have multiple tanks, the key is keeping it simple, stupid, just keeping it easy. I dose this tank maybe once a week with 2-part Bionic, just to keep the supplementation going. And it's really, really, really easy to keep, and it stays pretty clean, as does the tank next to it. This is my 11-gallon cube, which is run by the Aqua Clear and just steady water changes. The stars of this tank are my spotted cardinals, which I've been trying to breed out for the past few months. I had 2 failed attempts. These guys, if you look closer, there's the Aqua Clear 20 that runs this tank. And this is my large pair of spotted cardinals, which I'm trying to breed out. Simple tank, once again, just a cube, Aqua Clear, water changes. One thing that I do have a problem with is algae, because this light that is over this tank is also used for the 7-gallon cube next to it, which houses my my fry from outside, my planted aquarium. So all of this gets removed probably once a week, and it grows very thick. But it also helps in removing nitrates, and nitrates are really, really low in this tank, believe it or not. And it tests regularly at ample conditions. pH and everything is really stable, so you can do it. The Xenia is not going in any other tank. If you remember, this Xenia was in the 20 next to it, and I just removed it and moved it here, where it quickly took over, because I do feed it with Gani Power, once a week, a pinch full of Gani Power keeps them pulsing and growing, and I remove them from the glass regularly. Really easy to keep tank and really nice. But right next to it, you'll see that this light is spread across 2 tanks. So it's really meant to grow plants, and I have the blues adjusted, but it also grows a lot of algae. As you can see, this area right here was housing a clam, which didn't make it. I may try to put something else there in the near future, but let's move over to the cube. You'll see my paradise fish that I brought in from the tub outside. There are 6 fry in here, I believe, 6 fry that are in here, and here are all those plants. I have bamboo, I have pothos. I had mint in here, but the mint grew ridiculously. And there's no filtration in here other than a sponge filter and regular water changers, but these guys were living in the tub outside with nothing and did just fine. The plants absolutely do a great job of filtering this water, and I do test it once a week. But everything is going good. The fry are growing really fast. As you can see, the male here is doing really well. And the tank is pretty much self-sufficient. So now let's move next door to the 2.5 gallon tanks, which are housing my killifish. These, I believe, are the Aphysimian, which are not a annual killifish, but I've had quite a few fry in here. The first successful attempt at breeding the killifish, I didn't remove the eggs. I just leave it extremely densely planted so that the fry just pretty much feed and live in that dense population of plants. And I regularly cut it down. If when we swing over to the tank next to it, you'll see that I cut this really drastically about once every couple of months. Here's another one of the paradise fish I was trying to keep in here. I have 3, which you can't see right now, dwarf gouramis, and they're getting along well. He doesn't fight. I've never seen them fight. And if they fight, they get over it pretty quickly. But you can see the difference between the 2.5 gallons. I cut it drastically. There are also quite a few cherry shrimp in here if you get the opportunity to see them, which you really can't. But all the tanks I keep really simple. Minimal equipment. I do have the hydros controlling the air pumps and lighting on these tanks. But other than that, really simple to keep. Plants are the star of the show. If the plants are doing well, I always know the fish are going to do well. And that goes for all of the tanks. Now, here's the last tank I set up. That was primarily the native species tank, which housed my kingfish. And if you saw my prior video, these guys grew really big, and I released them after they grew past the 4-inch mark. But I do miss those guys because they were really cool and docile and really gave me constant joy. They fed off pellets, and I do miss them. But here's the new star to show, my yellow clown goby, which basically sits on everything like Kermit the Frog. I think I'm going to name him Kermit. He loves this artificial grass. I have chaetomorpha from my upper tanks sitting in here to just blend in with the artificial plants that I got from Pinplax. Thank you, Pinplax. The artificial plants I got from Pinplax and some of the plants I had laying around the house. But this guy will sit in this grass for hours. And let's not forget my saltwater mollies. I lost my female after 2 clutches of fry, but the male, you can see the beautiful top fin. I'm trying to catch a shot of the fry. I released quite a few of them into the tank, and here's a bunch of them. I'll give you a shot. They're doing really well. I just find it easy to feed them in this little breeding pen, and I'm just systematically releasing them into the tank. But they're doing really well. I'm feeding them cyclopes, baby brine, and mostly crushed flake. I'd love to get a shot of them. This guy just, when I come to the tank, he just goes right in my face. But up there's one. If you can see him real close, there he is in the plants. There's about 4 of them swimming around freely in there, and beautiful fish. Just reef ready once I've kept them. The shrimp is in here. He was beach shrimp, grass shrimp. Doing good, really stable. The tank is only filtered with my built-in overflow. I did this myself. Just A quarter-inch piece of acrylic, built several chambers in here. There's some biomedia, some carbon, and a return pump. At some point, I'll probably move a protein skimmer in here, but for now, I'm just doing water changes, just trying to keep it simple, and it's doing really well. So if you guys have a comment on what other fish I should add to this tank, leave it in the comments below. I'm probably trying to wait till next season where I could try to catch some killies wild. And here is the Super Cube. The Super Cube is about a 50-gallon cube, more in the edge of 40 plus gallons. This houses all the fish that I've bred outside and brought into the house. There's pseudomugals in here, mostly my leopard longfin zebra Daniel hybrids, a few neon colored Daniels, as well as a mixture of fish that you've seen me collect over the years. I do have my bumblebee gobies, which I love. I have about 4 or 5 of them in here, which are really outgoing and come to the front. A couple of guppies I didn't expect to have in here, but I think I brought them in on some grass that they were probably hiding in the grass, so I have them. And if you're wondering why I have this little cube in front of it, is because once in a while you end up with a fish. Oh yeah, there is pleco. There are a few plecos. I forgot the type, but they're a dwarf kind of bristlenose hybrid. Let's see if I can get another shot of them. But and the rock, no filtration. There is basically a internal filter, plants, sponge filter hidden in there, and these guys have grown way up and out of the tank where I have to cut this every week as well. Powered by my garage neon, not neon, my garage LED. But you can see the plant growth is off the hook. And if you get healthy plants, 90% of the time you'll have healthy fish. And once again, keeping it simple. That is the Super Cube. Now I'll try to get you a close-up, but with the glare, I have to apologize for the glare. With the several tanks in here, they're constantly casting glares on everything. But lighting, circulation, and plants are key. I test all of these tanks every week for ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, and pH. Everything else I can tell by looking at it. The plants aren't green or yellowing, I know there's something wrong. And yeah, don't think this tour is over, because I still have a couple more tanks to look at. But you can see I love this tank just because of the diversity and just variety of fish in here. When I feed them, it's just really awesome to see them in this little corner here. Oh, yeah, did I leave out the white clouds? Yeah, you guys that are watching, those are the white clouds that I raised in the tub outside from fry. You can see they are no longer fry. So here, last but not least, is the Rainforest setup, which is the 20 extra high that has been running for about 12 years now and houses all of my adult male spawning fish, the paradise fish, the parent white clouds, mountain minnows, and a few of the plecos that overwinter in this tank. Primary filtration is the Aqua Clear 30, which is on the back, as well as the fluval filter that I got on the floor. But the real star of this tank is the adult paradise fish. Hard to see the male there. And of course, my collector's piece, my fisherman, because I love fishing. And it's just a tribute to how I use my fishing hobby to kind of complement the aquarium hobby. And there is me, Little D, for any of you guys that doubt how long I've been in this hobby. It's a long time, a long time. But just to show the main filtration being plant life, once the roots take hold like this, pothos or any other plant roots, it performs a majority of the filtration and keeps those fish really happy and healthy. I don't have to do a lot. The fluval are really an accent, but the real star of the tank is the pothos, which I cut every week. So that is it for the tank. The moral of the story is keep it simple. I have a lot of tanks. I actually have a couple more which I have not filmed, but those are the smaller tanks that I keep a few of the betas and things in. And on an out note, the LED garage light is doing excellent. I have to move it every now and then, cut a lot of leaves because the leaves actually burn from the intensity of this light. So until next time, this is D with an outshot of my fisherman doing his thing. I hope you guys have a happy new year and be well. I gotta change some water, so it's time for you to go. This is for me, for you to know. Happy New Year, happy holidays. Look both ways, crossing the street. La 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 la. Time to change water, people. Thanks for watching and have a happy holiday. Cheap plug.